is one of the most moving moments in all of the Torah. The great patriarch Jacob, sensing that his time on this earth is coming to a close, gathers his children around him for one last time to say his goodbye and impart a final blessing. He proceeds to bless each one of his children with a unique blessing. And then in its conclusion, he once more gives them this time a collective, unified blessing. In the words of the Torah in chapter 49, verse 28, these are the words that their father told them, and then he blessed them. Each one, according to their blessing, did he bless them. The great commentator, Rashi, points out that because when one looks closely at the blessings, one does not see a blessing apparently until the fourth child, Judah. The first three, Reuven, Shimon, and Levi, don't seem to receive a blessing. Actually, they seem to get the opposite of one. And so at the conclusion, Jacob tells his children, I'm blessing all of you. Each one of you is getting a blessing, and you're getting a collective blessing that each one is going to share in the blessings of each other. The reason why this commentary is so moving is because what Rashi teaches us is that many times we feel like we're not getting the blessings we hoped we would, or that we think we deserve. And we look around us and we say, why does that person get a blessing? Why does that person seem to be blessed and I am not? And Rashi is telling us is that there are two types of blessings in this world. There is the individual blessing, and then there is the collective blessing of Am Yisrael. Jacob blessed each of his children, but for the individual blessings, some of them needed to wait until the future. Rashi points out that at some point in the future, every single one of those children would receive a blessing that would come true. We know this because while Levi, for example, was castigated by Jacob, many years later, he becomes the priestly tribe, the most elevated spiritual tribe of the Kohanim and the Leviim. And so sometimes a blessing on an individual level is something that a prophet understands that is going to take time in order to it to come to fruition. But there is a collective blessing, which Jacob tells his children at the end. Don't give up hope if your individual blessing doesn't materialize exactly and as quickly as you want, because somewhere there is someone who is having their blessing come to fruition for them. But by you connecting and being unified as part of Am Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, all of the children together, Vayevarech otam, he blesses them together, that we can share in each other's blessings because we are one. And if we feel we are one, then we will be able to access not only our collective blessing, our unique individual blessing at the same time. Some 800 years after Rashi, there is another commentator by the name of the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, a profound commentary of Rabbi Chaim Ibn Attar, the great 18th century Talmudist mystic and Kabbalist, who takes us one step deeper and presents a very, very profound and moving interpretation of this story that can serve as a tremendous parental and pedagogic lesson for all of us. He says, what is the meaning that Jacob blesses his children, Ish asher kivirchato berach otam, each one according to their blessing did he bless them. He goes on to explain that every single person has their own unique blessing that is tailor-made waiting for them. No two people can get the same blessing. Jacob does not bless his children the same. He blesses each one specifically different because he recognizes that none of his children are the same. And sometimes we may think, and we are compelled as parents or teachers, to pigeonhole, or that everybody should fit in a box, and why is this child not like that child? And we hope that everyone will follow in the footsteps of a specific path of a sibling or a classmate. We must realize that every soul in this world has a unique purpose and mission to fulfill in this world. Jacob does not ask Levi to be like Judah or Yisachar to be like Zevulun. He recognizes that each one has a unique gift. He doesn't pray that all 12 children should be the same type of individual, whether they should be the same scholar or the same business person or the same kindness or the same attribute of generosity, of compassion. He looks at his children and he sees, what are you meant to be? Fulfill that mandate. Be the best that you can be. Be the best Reuven you can be. Be the best Simon, Levi, Judah, and so on and so forth. And this is what it means, Asher kivir chato berachotam. Jacob the prophet, with his prophecy, was able to see what was the blessing of each of his children. And then he blesses them according to their unique temperament of character and of emotional capacity. What this should teach us is that when we look at our own children, we should realize what is their gift, not the gift that we want them to have, not the blessing we want to bestow upon them. We should look at our patriarch Jacob and realize what he did was he looks at them and he sees what are they unique already about, and then bless them to utilize that blessing and gift and potential they already have to its fullest potential. The great Hasidic master, Rabbi Zusha of Anipoli, once famously said that when he leaves this world and goes on to the heavenly world, and he's going to be asked in the moment of judgment, they're going to say, Zusha, why weren't you more like Abraham? Why weren't you more like the holy patriarch Abraham? And he'll say, because I'm not Abraham. I'm Zusha. And he goes, I'm not concerned that when they ask me, how come you weren't more like Moses? Because I have a great answer. I'm not Moses. I'm Zusha. And so on and so forth. But he says, I do have one great worry. I will come to the heavenly throne and they will look at me and they will say, Zusha, why weren't you Zusha? Why weren't you the best Zusha you can be? That is what gives me pause. What will I answer? Each and every single one of us, the Orach Chaim, HaKadosh, the Holy Master is telling us, we should realize that Jacob is blessing us with an individual blessing and a collective blessing. The collective blessing is that we share in the joys and the holiness of our entire nation. That is true. But we should never forget that no two of us are the same, because if two of you were identical, one of you is expendable. God does not create any copycats. We are all individual, unique masters of our own destiny and have a unique configuration of physical and spiritual DNA. And it took a Jacob to realize not to want to force each of his children to be similar to someone else, but to celebrate their differences, to accentuate to them how unique and different, and therefore how blessed they each one are, and they should utilize what they can do more than anyone else can do in their lifetime. May God bless us, that we should take a lesson from our holy patriarch Jacob and look at our children, our grandchildren, our students, all the people that we come into contact with, and realize that the greatest blessing we can give them and ourselves is to be the best Zusha that we can be. To look at ourselves and realize, stop comparing ourselves to somebody else. Don't look at somebody else's blessings and wonder, where is my blessing that's similar? That is not your blessing. Your blessing is uniquely tailored to you. Ish asher kivir chato berachotam. Find your blessing, because what you can accomplish in your life, no one else in the world can do exactly what you can do. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek.